Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Steven Inks, and today I have some fantastic news for you. I am officially a sellout. Yes, I have leveraged my position as a minor celebrity in the pen community to get myself some free stuff. This is the full disclosure part of the video, I have been contacted by an AliExpress store known as 365 Days Stationery Store, and I think I've actually bought from them before, but they offered to send me a free version of a new design of their Majohn A1 pen that they carry. I already know that I like the Majohn A1, so it was easy for me to agree to look at it again. And also, I feel like I've got some things to say about the Majohn A1 that I didn't say in my original video. The concept, if you've been around here for a while, was that I was looking at so-called fake pen summer. It's been about a year since doing that series and looking at pens that look very much like other pens. The Majohn A1 was really the only one that I liked so much that I continue to use it. Most of those pens have either been part of giveaways or they're just hanging out in my pen box and I haven't really touched them. So it was easy for me to agree to have a look at this pen because it looked really nice, it looked really interesting, and I would love to say some more things about the A1 and some of the things that I've learned about it since doing my original video a year ago. We could figure out if this is still a pen I would recommend and that I think is valuable here in this year. I can't wait to have a look at this thing, so let's get started. Alright, so I received the box in the mail just this week. As you can see, we got a little dinged up on the road here, but you know, seeing as how it traveled quite far, I'm not faulting them for that. The shipping was actually pretty fast. I want to say I had it in less than 2 weeks, even though the shipping did say I think that it would take longer than that. But you know, it arrived very quickly. So let's open it up and see what's inside. Okay, so there's a little booklet and two-way filling system. Okay, shows the cartridge. It also shows the I'm very curious actually if this will actually fill by converter using the method described in this picture. We're gonna try it because last time I used the little the filling cartridge that they gave you. Like there's a little, I'll show you in a second, but there's a little cartridge that you can add in, and I like that a lot. But all right. See, information is pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward, but here is the pen. I'll talk about the other accessories in just a second. And wow, it's got this kind of scaly pattern. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a close-up on it. Cool. There's a little textured piece of metal right there. I'm getting different textures, the top and bottom. None are uncomfortable, none are rough, but this feels very smooth down at the bottom, and this has got kind of a texture like I want to say it's very similar to the Hongdian Black Forest. So if you like that, you'll probably love this. Again, not uncomfortable, but just so you know that it's there. Real quick, let's look at the accessories included and just double checking to make sure. Sometimes there's additional things underneath the box, so I'm just going to check and make sure if that's the case or not the case. Yeah, it's just an empty box. It comes with everything you need. There's a little pipette if you don't have a blunt needle syringe, which I highly recommend that you get one. If you're a pen lover, they come in handy all the time, but they got you covered in case you don't have one of those. You got this little thing right here to fill this container. You get a little more ink capacity with something like this. It's just a little rubber stopper on the bottom, and you fill this with ink and put it inside of the cartridge. Receiving end of the cartridge, excuse me. I'll show you that in a second. I do prefer this filling method with these pens, although I really like the converter that comes with this pen. I have a whole video on just this converter called Pilot's Best Cartridge Converter that they don't make. Because I just think this is just such a more intuitive design for a converter. And I don't know why Pilot hasn't jumped on this and started making stuff that looks more like this for their converters. I love Pilot pens, but their converters are just, they're not great. I don't like those. They're just inefficiently designed and kind of weird. So let's look at the pen a little more in detail. Got a nice chrome finish for the outside. Some people have asked me, I'll try and address some of the extra questions I've gotten after doing a review for this pen. If this little clip here is uncomfortable to hold. And I have to say, the first time that I held this pen, I did feel uncomfortable, but it's weird. Your hand adjusts to it, and now I don't even think about it. It's got a nice little, if you see right there, it kind of scoops in right about where my finger is. And that's perfect for a grip that's right there. Even if you go further back, it's not uncomfortable. Your fingers just need to get used to it. So they do have a clipless version for some of these pens. I don't know if this particular finish has that, but yeah, I don't think that should be a deal breaker for this pen. You do get used to it. So it's the inside. This is pretty much a tube at this point. There's a little spring in there for the pen nib to go in. We'll have a look at that in a little bit. And there's a little metal cap on the top. And inside, you'll see, this is how it came with an extra one of these, pretty much the exact same thing, so you get two of them. I will be using the converter for this one, so we're going to attach that right now. Okay. One criticism I could say already is with the converter and this metal sleeve, you're not going to get a very good indicator of how much ink is in your pen if you're going to look at it that way. And then you wouldn't use this, obviously, with the converter. So that's a knock against it, but I have a feeling that the vanishing point has a similar problem. So I won't think too poorly of it for that. You can also, I love that the nib aligns perfectly when it goes in because of this little metal piece that's right there. Goes in nice. It's very well machined. It has great. It just comes together so easy and pulls apart so easy. Things that I love about a pen when you can do that. And this long button, which is sometimes called a knock, you push it, satisfying click, and there's your nib. This is an extra fine. I'm not sure if they make other nib sizes. I feel like this might be the only nib size that they have. That's fine with me because I love an extra fine for drawing, so perfect. Let's fill it with ink. This will be the ink that we're going to be using today. It's Colorverse Arrokoth, however you pronounce that. It has a sort of brown, like a light brown, almost creamy texture, color, excuse me. And I don't know, I thought that this pen, despite the fact that it is kind of a gray color, and I could use gray ink, I have several that I like very much, has a sort of creamy, off-white brownish color to it, and I think that Arrokoth, whatever this ink is going to be perfect to pair with the pen. Got a little air bubble in there. And we'll see how that looks. And I am going to be trying, like I said, to fill from a converter, which is something that I didn't do the last time I used this pen, or the other model of this pen that I own. And I'm just going to see if it works. Okay, I'm getting bubbles, which is a good sign. It's hard to tell if it's working or not because there's so little room for the actual ink. Let me just pull it on its side and see if we got ink in there. Actually, I don't know. This could be messy. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's ink in there. All right. So, cool. It works. Let's get a few more. See if I can get a little bit more ink in there. So it can be filled with a converter. And like I said, I really like this converter. We've already done this dance before, but I'm ready to make some lines with it. All right, we're going to give some test lines to our paper. This Arrokoth is a bit light, and we're talking an extra fine nib right here, so bear with me. I'll bring the paper up to the screen if we need it. But let's just see what we've got here. Okay, just like my other Majohn A1, this definitely has very light lines and a very light touch to it. This is one of those nibs that does take a little bit of warming up to. You got to remember that this isn't a $200, $150, $200 pen like the Vanishing Point. So the nib is a steel nib, and it takes some breaking in, but I find that it does really well. So these are the kinds of lines that I actually like. They're a bit dry and a bit thin. There is a difference between forward and, let me do this real quick, reverse, and we'll look at that up close. Sorry, I don't think I'm getting focus. I'm trying to work out why that is. So if you look at those lines, you're getting some pretty thin lines here. I think that this is acceptable for me. For you, it might be that you don't want something that thin. There is definitely some things you can do with the nib like this to bring that around and have it work a little more. Sorry to think what to say. To have it the lines hit a little bit thicker. And you can also just move a little bit slower. And if you look at the difference here between this and this, yeah, there's a lot of variance that you can get in your lines when you're doing this and varying the pressure that you give the nib. Being a less expensive pen, I don't feel as nervous to try adding extra pressure, even though, you know, there are definitely cheaper pens out there, but I would feel a little bit scared doing this with a $150, $200 pen, pushing a little bit more, but this one doesn't make me nervous. This is the kind of pen that you can just have and play around with and make it work for you. And this pen really does work well. If you look at what I'm doing right now, I am just drawing. I'm unhindered by the pen. It's not causing me any kind of grief or distress. And that's the way it should be. Your pen shouldn't get in the way of you doing what you do. So good job on this Majohn A1. It does what it's supposed to do. After you find a pen or a brand of pens that just does what you want it to do with no major problems, the question comes down to, do you like it? Do you like how it looks? Do you like how it feels? Does it meet your needs as an artist? And for me, this pen definitely does do that. It feels nice. I like the texture and the grippiness. It's about the right size for what I like to hold in my hand. It's very convenient that you can just flip it on and off, and you can store it upright in your pocket. The clip has nice spring to it, so it's kind of the thing that you miss out not using ballpoint pens, which have, you know, it's easier to find a click action pen in the ballpoint world than in the world of fountain pens. There have been some changes to that recently. the vanishing point isn't a terribly old design. Actually, the patent on it has recently expired, which is one of the reasons why this pen exists. You could think of it as like the store brand aspirin. After the patent expires, the other parties can come in and try their version. And the thing that I really like about this particular pen is this finish. I could be wrong about this. I did do some research, but I don't know of every single corner of the internet. I didn't see that the vanishing point had a finish like this one. So what I'm looking at here is a unique take on a pen that does exist in other forms, including the pilot versions, but there's something at least that they're playing around with the design and trying to make it their own. So there's something in there that I'm interested in. Well, cool. This worked out really well. You can see I'm having no trouble creating lines, and the nib keeps up. Let's leave some art advice before we go. Art advice. Don't be bound to your style. Also, don't be afraid of other style. That means that I think that, again, I've talked about this on this channel a lot, that style is that thing that's elusive for a lot of artists. We're searching for, what's our style, what's my style, how do I have a unique voice when I'm creating art, especially if you're trying to be commercially successful. I know that some people who watch this channel are commercially successful. Good for you. How'd you do it? But for me, even just as wanting to make art that I like, that's good, that doesn't look like what other people have made, I do kind of have this idea of what's my style, but I do at certain points in my career as an artist, want to just step back and see, well, what else could I do? Or also, if I create something and it doesn't look like the normal thing that I create, I don't want to abandon that just because it's not what I've established for myself. Growth as an artist is very important, even if you go very far away from what you originally thought your concept was. Best to do all those experiments as often as possible, and not be afraid of like losing people just because you decide to go in a different direction. You should make the art that makes you happy, and you shouldn't be afraid of copying other people's style, not in a sense that you want to put out art and publish art that is a blatant copy of someone else's style, but for your own playing around with stuff, experimenting, and even just for the fun of creating, it's a great idea to just look at people's art and their style and say, oh, let me do that for a second. Let me make something in that way, and just have fun with it. It's supposed to be fun. So with that in mind, let's do a drawing. So the operating idea behind this particular drawing is the frustration I feel as a native Californian that it is summer and the weather is weird. We got rain, we got clouds, we've got overcast skies. Not a lot of summer happening. It does happen to be quite a warm day today, so I hope you're enjoying the weather wherever you're at. It's been crazy the last couple of weeks. We're already partway through July, and I don't know if summer's coming. I don't know. Best to keep an umbrella and a good attitude. So I had a great time using this pen. As you can see a couple of times in the video, my hand goes a little bit further back than the grip that I showed you earlier in the video, which is great that there's kind of the opportunity, the ability for it to do that. Means that I can do longer strokes with my pen without
being a problem, but I can also do fine details, as you could see on this detail of the face of the character and the clothing, everything that I want in a pen. There are a lot of fountain pens that are really great for drawing. This happens to be one of them. It's a fun pen to write with as well. Yeah, I really do enjoy this pen. And what a lot of people have said in the comments to the other video that I had on the Majohn A1 is totally valid. Things about the patent expiring. So it's the, like I said, the aspirin, what did I say? The aspirin, store brand aspirin of the pen world. But it works. It does the same thing that its original thing does, the original pen. And I'm happy with it. I enjoy it, and I good on Majohn for coming up with a different design, a different finish to go with it. This is a pretty cool and stylish finish, and I think that I will continue to enjoy it for many years to come. I think I might even like this better than the matte black version that I bought last year. So there's that.
So, final thoughts on the Majohn A1. It's a lovely pen. You can see the texture and the attention to detail in the machining is beautiful. It's a joy to write with. It's quite fun to use. And I would say if you're interested in this pen, you should go for it. I know that the design, including the original design of the Pilot Vanishing Point, which this pen is very heavily based upon, isn't everyone's favorite. When I started my journey into fountain pens several years ago, I never thought I would be interested in a pen like this, but then one day I suddenly was. I wanted to try something cool and weird and interesting, and this design is definitely cool and weird and interesting. So if you're into that, definitely check out the link in the comments to the video, and you'll find where you could get a hold of this particular design, and many other designs for the Majohn A1 do exist if you have, if you're looking for something a little bit different. Wanted to address the issues of patent for the Vanishing Point, the original design for this pen, and Majohn making the A1. As it was pointed out to me in my original video, I did not know that the patent had expired for the Vanishing Point, meaning that there's no copyright protection on that design anymore. Now, you may feel how you feel about that. It's just worthy of noting that it is not illegal to have this this design that's copied off of something else, if the patent has indeed expired, as many of you have pointed out to me in the comment section of my previous video. And again, would I recommend this over the Vanishing Point, the original design, which has a gold nib and a lot of other bells and whistles? I'd say that they may be for two different people. So if you're looking to invest in something a little bit upscale and you want to play around with gold nibs, the Vanishing Point is a great place to start. If you are a collector of the strange and the interesting, you may not quite have the funds to put towards something as expensive as a Vanishing Point. You might be more interested in something like the A1. It delivers that interesting flavor of fountain pen for a price that's much more, in my opinion, reasonable. I feel like retractable pens are so expensive, but there have been some new players on the field, including Majohn and some other people making some similar things that are worth checking out. But so far that I've seen, Majohn seems to be making the best quality version of that. There's a lot of cheap knockoffs out there that really aren't worth the plastic that they're made from. So those are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you are interested in seeing how my perspective on the A1 has changed from this video to the next one. It's still a mainstay in my pen collection. I use my previous model all the time, and I will continue to use this one as well. If you enjoyed this, look forward to more videos coming in the future. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe, comment below. What's your thoughts on the Majohn A1? Do you have one? Would you buy another model of the same design if it was just a slightly different finish? I never thought I would be that person, but it turns out I am, because I'm really enjoying this pen. Let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next one. All right, so I just want to point something out that I forgot to mention. Maybe you saw it in the previous portions of the video, but this gem right here, Majohn, feel the temperature of writing. And in case you're wondering, it's cold up here, but the temperature of writing is a little bit warm right there, because that's where I was holding the pen. All right, like and subscribe for more science facts. It is a fantastic pen that we've got here today. Such with focus. And a really lovely. Now what? Why won't it focus? Gorgeous design. I really enjoy. What beautiful, and it won't focus. Detail of it.